semi-final of the FA Cup. Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Either Nottingham Forest or Man City will be standing in the victor's way of stardom, which Palace are yet to achieve in this prestigious competition, whilst the Villains are bidding to reach final number 12 and an 8th FA Cup. A golden opportunity still presents itself for another chance at silver. What a run it's been.
West Ham United provide the opposition in the third round. Comes from the far post, Martina for Martin. Martin shoots. Oh, he's going to go in. He's come. Oh no, he's Anana. Amadou Anana. Watkins will come to step over. Narrow angle. Look at the goal. Yes, it's Morgan Rogers. Aston Villa go through to the fourth round of the FA Cup. Inside the penalty box. Early chance for Villa Shea. Oh, it's gone in. The goalkeeper missed it. Only on Bailey. Marlon, narrow angle. Oh, it's off the line. Is it good? Broken in. It's Morgan Rogers. 2-1 full-time score. Truth be told, on another day could have been so much more for Aston Villa. For Rashford turns it back. Asensio breaks the deadlock. Asensio again. Marco Asensio. Aston Villa have beaten Cardiff by 2-0 to go through to the last 8 of the FA Cup. Marcus Rashford with his first goal for Aston Villa. Wait, watch it. Oh, he's knocked it beyond Cornell. 2 goals for Aston Villa, who are heading to Wembley surely. Jacob Ramsey makes it 3-0. And there goes the full-time whistle. Aston Villa into the semi-finals of the FA Cup.
Hello and welcome to Villa TV and to Matchday Live. We are live from Wembley. My name is Kate Tracy. Joining me, 3 former Villains, Ahmed El Mohammadi, James Chester and Alan McAnally. The Jaeger bomb settled the nerves?
Yeah, that's a great way to start. Yeah, I had to go to the box part. By the way, the guys have been in there since 10 in the morning. They were bouncing. We were singing songs and we had a few giveaways, and we were lucky because Damien and Monchi joined us and said a few words, and it was just a great atmosphere. But at the very end, there was a lady coming along to give these Jaeger bombs. I don't know what they were. But, and someone
in
gave
inverted commas.
Someone gave me 2. But I was like...
I thought one was for me. You took them both.
And then it was like, oh, and I had to like neck both.
Oh, you have to.
Listen, I normally, doing the TV, we don't drink any alcohol and we be good. But yeah, listen, it was a great atmosphere. And it's just set the day up just so... I mean, it's such a big game for both clubs. But certainly, of course... For us, we're going to be completely biased, and let's hope we get the job done today.
Definitely so. How are the nerves for you then? You were lacking the Jaeger bomb as it turned out, but being back here, James, how is it?
It's special, isn't it? It's a special stadium, and like Alan says, it's an important day for both clubs. But certainly for ours, and with Unai's record in cup competitions, I'm looking forward to a positive result today.
Hopefully so. Anyway, Elmer, of course, you being back here, some happy memories, not so happy memories. What's your overriding feeling being back at Wembley?
Yeah, this is my 8th time here. Shared this stage with James, I think maybe 5 times with James through 2 clubs, 3 times with Hull, 3 times with Villa. Last time we were here were 2020, the cup final against Man City. I know it didn't end up well, but hopefully today. So it's a big occasion, In big occasion, you need big players, and then you can see through the season, especially in the Champions League, in the big stage, we perform very well against the top teams. So today, yeah, of course, the lads excited, the manager excited here, coming back to Wembley as well. So it's a big day for everyone, especially the fans as well.
Yeah, so we're just getting indications in the background, actually. Very surprising to us that Monchi and Damian Vidagani are both joining us. Hello, guys. Hello. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a massively unexpected surprise for us, so thank you so much. How's your day been so far, Monchi?
I am nervous now, very nervous, because it's an important moment for the club, for everybody. But I'm confident with the team, with the squad. I hope that we have a good performance, because we play against a difficult team, a big team, but I want to believe in my team, and I hope that in 3 weeks we can be here another time.
everything crossed that we'll be back here in a few weeks' time. Damien, how's the atmosphere been like? You were both in the box park as well earlier.
Yeah, we've been there and it was amazing. Of course, the MC was great also, no? The master of ceremony, but the atmosphere was amazing, and we've been delighted to go there and to feel like the fans, because it's very special for us, because you know that in Spain there's not a one-match semi-final. Semi-finals on the Cup, it's 2 matches, and I think it's a big success on English football that 4 teams can feel the happiness, the joy of to come to London, to Wembley, to the final. But for sure we want more, we want more. We are thinking here that today is going to be a very big success for us if we get there to the final, but for sure we are hoping the best and to come back, as Monchi said, in a couple of weeks again here. But look, it was something touching today to be there in the fan zone and feeling the happiness of the fans. Many years waiting for that.
And how important is that then, Monchi, to win silverware? The pair of you have not been at the club for very long at all, but to already have got Aston Villa to a semi-final of the FA Cup, how important would it be to win a trophy?
It's the most important thing. To win a trophy is the best possibility, you know, because at the end we work every day for the club, for everybody. But for me, the most important thing is to watch the supporter happy, no? And we have today a big opportunity to do an important step to be in the final. I think that's a day to enjoy them, because Aston Villa in the last 10 years, in the last year, suffered because but today is a moment that I think that everybody wait to be here and to enjoy. So hopefully we can win, and they are very happy after the game.
And Damien, how quick has this success for Villa been? From dragging the team from really toying with relegation to now being, you know, the quarterfinals of a Champions League, the semi-finals of an FA Cup, vying for Champions League places. Has this exceeded even your expectations?
I think that it comes naturally. We didn't think when we came, and it seems yesterday when we came 2 years and a half ago, that we have the goal to be here today or whatever. It came naturally because I want to be honest, maybe the result was not there, but the greatness of the club was there. And then when you are able to fix little bit of things, to give less common sense, it's like when you have the wind in your favor in the sea, because the greatness of Aston Villa push a lot. I don't think that will be possible to do this quick success, even doing the same things in a club smaller without the greatness of Aston Villa. So I think that is the sum of the work, of course, but the existing greatness. And I am looking at Telmo, I am wishing to feel like him when McGinn scored here and then in the playoff. I've seen many times the footage. So I'm totally excited and convinced that also today the greatness of Aston Villa is playing in our favor.
Oh, well, lads, you've been so generous with your time. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
I know you've got a very busy day. And just thank you for everything you've done for the club. We all really appreciate it. I think I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of fans for that as well. Thank you so much, guys. Hopefully we'll be speaking to you after the game as well. Fingers crossed for a good result. Well, huge thank you then to Damien Vidagani and to Monchi as well for coming and seeing us. I didn't expect that, Elmo. That was a nice surprise, wasn't it?
Both, yeah, both of them, to be honest, since they walked to the club, they've been magnificent, both of them. I know Damien was a bit earlier, Monchi came a year later, but it's been sensational, you know, alongside with the manager and the owners as well. You know, the work they've been done since we've been promoted. I remember last time in the playoff, you know, after the game, I remember speaking to the owner, you know, Nasif, and he said to me, watch this club in 5 years, it will play in Europe. Here we are now, you know, so they're just, you know, the work they did for the club, it's unbelievable, you know, and the fans can recognize that. And they just mentioned, you know, a couple of days ago about the new stand as well. It's everything for the club going now. It's excited for the fans, for everything involved with Aston Villa. So it's a great time to be a Villa fan.
They just get it, don't they, James? They get the fans. The fact that they went to the box park earlier on, were ingratiating themselves. The fact that Damian writes letters to the fan clubs about the place all over the country, just say, we need your support, and, you know, to really listen to the fans as well. They just get it.
Yeah, I don't think that's always the case with people at other football clubs. They misread the situation, but that's certainly not the case with like Elmo said, the owners, Damian, Monchi, the manager. But like they mentioned, that it was a wonderful club before they came, and they've just had to tweak a few little things to get the football club to where, you know, a lot of us believed it should have been for a long time.
Yeah, and they just, everything about them, from the way that they structure the club, from the way that Monchi, I mean, he's here, there and everywhere, going off scouting for the next talents to come through, isn't he? The fact that Damian relieves so much pressure off of Unai Emery as well, so he can focus on the football. They are integral to this club.
Do you know, I mean, he spoke brilliantly. The both of them trying to impress that, you know, Spain's a little bit different, and England is unique to this competition and to this football club. And Damien spoke about the grain of the football club, you know, the grain, the heartbeat of the club, and they recognise how good the fans have been. You know, they travel to Europe. We're here today. We're pushing for another place in Europe domestically, because we've got a couple of big games coming up, regardless of this semi-final, my goodness. And they've always got their eye on the prize at the end. But even them to recognise the position they have in the football club and know that when everybody needs help in a football club, and they get it in abundance from the fans, we give them as much support, but you've got to say those two guys know exactly what they're doing, and so does the manager, and that's why they've managed to lift. And you asked a good question, are they surprised? And he said, well, not really, because we knew how big Aston Villa as a club is, and if it wasn't as big as it was, we wouldn't have managed to get to that position. So I think that's a pat in the back for everybody at Aston Villa, but also naturally the leader of the captain of the ship, which is Unai Emery, and they're his two vice-captains, and they've done brilliant so far. It's the run this year, not just Europe, has been absolutely unbelievable. And hopefully it's not finished for us yet this season.
Oh, definitely. Now, someone else who has been integral to the success of Aston Villa has been Tyrone Mings, who, of course, you and I had the pleasure of earlier on this week, sitting down with us on the podcast. Let's look at a clip of that now. And it's not upped any more so than for a semi-final of an FA Cup, or is it?
No, I think we let the fans enjoy that. I think that the FA Cup semi-final and going far in the Champions League, all those things I think are really important for the fans to enjoy, because there's a different atmosphere around the club, isn't there? There's a different feeling. You get the only difference for players is that you use a different ball, isn't there? And you play in a different stadium on Saturday, but everything in terms of preparing for the game would be exactly the same.
Well, it's not going to be any different. You've played at Wembley representing Aston Villa, for God's sakes, when we won the playoff, etc., etc. But it still must be for you inside, like, okay, get rid of Friday, let's get to Saturday. It's the semi-final of the FA Cup.
Absolutely, yeah. Every training session now, everybody's just
I never got to play in the semi-final of the FA Cup.
Right.
But I'm like, come on, boys, let's. I'd quite like the final on the 17th. Actually, that'd be quite nice.
Yeah, no, I think it's a stage of the tournament where you can start thinking about things like that. But we have such a tough opposition in Palace in front of us that it's going to require the knowledge of the games that we've played against them before, the knowledge of the games that we've played against different opposition and how well we know we can play. And also being able to handle the occasion as well. I think playing in front of 80,000+ people at Wembley is a special but different occasion as well, and something that you experience will probably help with as well.
And in terms of the FA Cup run that you've been on, of course, Villa coming in at a later stage, as we know, but has it been everything that has met your expectation? Did you expect to go this far on this run? How has it been from your perspective?
Yeah, I think we're exactly where I expected us to be. I think when you have a squad as strong as ours, you have to utilise it, and sometimes that rotation comes with cup games and the changes that the manager makes to win certain games. Like Preston away is very different than playing Cardiff at home. So I think the run that we've had has thrown out so many different challenges in the first two games being Premier League opposition. I think we've overcome just about everything at the moment, maybe other than a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a great cup run, and one that players that have been here for a long time have probably missed out on. I know we got to the Carabao Cup final, but that again seems like a long time ago, and maybe we didn't go into that final on as even level as what we thought with Man City.
Big game for the club Saturday, isn't it? Big game.
It is really big, yeah. And I think you can feel it, like in the build-up, especially tomorrow, the build-up to it, and kind of the interaction on social media. Like, there's no getting away from how big it is for probably 3 of the 4 clubs in the semi-final. I'm not doing Man City a disservice there. I just mean they've had the most recent success. And it's still a big game for them. I think if they come away from the season not having won the title but having won the FA Cup and qualified for the Champions League, they'd see that as positive. But certainly for the other teams, it's going to be an amazing achievement if one of them can win it for their fans.
Yeah, great to hear from Tyrone Mings. And he was just fantastic to talk to, wasn't he? Such a good communicator, but he's so level-headed about everything. And he was really emphasising that Unai Emery treats this like no other game in terms of the preparation, leaves the occasion to the fans. But that's probably just a sensible approach. Yeah,
well, he's a figurehead in the dressing room, Tyrone. The lads know him very well, having probably spent more time with him than I have. But every time I've been with him, he's a big lad, by the way. He's a real imposing man. But he carries himself with a real, I don't know what's the right word to use, he's just a very measured guy. He really is. And everything he said the other day was all naturally positive. But I think the main thing I thought I took out of it was the guys are bursting. They're really looking forward to this, because the role that they've been on in the games they've played on, this is just another big one for us to play. And he basically thinks everybody's going to be ready. And he talks about the manager quite rightly, so he should. So it's, yeah. And he knows it's not easy to get into this team, but he's happy to be a part of it, which is brilliant coming from someone from Tyrone Mings with experience like he's obviously got for us.
And James, obviously, as Alan was just saying there, you know him very well, played alongside him as well. What's he like?
Yeah, he's a really good person to have around the dressing room and around the building. He is very level-headed, which I think you can see from his performances coming up from the Championship and how he's performed in the Premier League and the Champions League now with the club. I imagine he'd be disappointed that he's not playing today, because the games that I've certainly watched in him recently, I think he's been really impressive, and I think he's perhaps brought in the team against Newcastle to deal with the physical presence that they had, and Crystal Palace do have that in Matchday today. So I'm sure he'd be disappointed that he's not playing, but it's a very good squad that Aston Villa have got now, and it's difficult to get in the team. Yeah,
and we're going to give you team news in just a few minutes there. But Elmo, just to reiterate what James was saying there, in terms of what he's like to be around, you know, in the changing rooms, back at the training ground, everything like that, what's Tyrone like?
Yeah, he's a leader on and off the pitch. You know, he's great for the dressing room. He was part of the team alongside John McGinn, got promoted here in 2019. So he knows the place very well. He played with England here, so just bring this experience to the lads who's just this first game for them, you know, Wembley, the likes of Morgan, maybe it's the first time for him to just the experience of the big occasion, because sometimes it's different for you. Even if you play week in, week out in the Premier League, this stadium is different. You know, when you come here, a bit nervous, you know, big stadium, a lot of fans, so just bring this experience. So yeah, Tyrone's been magnificent. He's one of the 4 captains in the club now, so it's good to have him around the club, you know, and to bring this experience to the players who just came this year and the year before. Just bring this experience. So he's great for the team alongside John McGinn.
And not only that, when we're speaking about trying to difficult to get in the team, any time Tyrone has been asked to take part, he's been brilliant. Yeah. He's been absolutely brilliant. Yeah. He's been that leader. He's been the captain. And I don't remember him ever coming on, not giving everything he's got and playing such an influence that we get a positive result. So the big man's doing it. He knows his job. He wants to play more often, naturally, but sometimes that just isn't available, and the managers get different ideas. But Tyrone's always been on the same page, and he's always ready to rock.
And we know what he's going to have had for his pre-match meal as well, don't we? Spaghetti bolognese and pancakes.
No, yeah.
What was yours? What was your pre-match meal?
Porridge.
Oh, that's
it's boring. Pre-match meals, that's the best thing about being retired. I don't have to do pre-match meals anymore.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about that.
It started scrambled egg and toast when I was younger, but then it progressed to porridge, and that's where it stayed. Yeah.
Elmo?
Just pasta. I just go as light as you can. Pasta just gives you more power and fill you as well.
So boring.
Yeah. But, you know, this is what you have to do. You know, something working for you, you have to just keep the routine going. So I had pasta for what, 16 years? You know, so pretty much.
Jaeger bombs for you.
Jaeger bombs. Just a piece of pork and
No,
some
Alan
pasta.
used to have steak, you know.
No, I would never.
Days, you know,
Well, maybe when I was 17, 18, I can remember going to a game with steak and chips and mushrooms and the whole shit.
How times change.
I suppose at Villa, and then when I went abroad, it was you weren't even allowed to eat things like that. So it was a bit of pork, and I'm the same as Elma, a bit of pasta, which was, just about right. I always remember we would have lunched, like it was an evening game certainly. Couldn't wait to get to my bed, try and get a couple of hours sleep, or at least an hour and a half sleep, and then get the meeting done, cup of coffee, get the bus and get to the stadium and get it on.
I wonder what Unai Emery's pre-match meal is. Now, he spoke to the media yesterday to preview today's game.
It's a good opportunity for us to be in this semi-final, to enjoy this moment with our supporters, to travel to London with them, and play a match. My expectation is very difficult match because their motivation, their moment, they're a good moment as well. They play very well against the last match against Arsenal. Is really giving us this information, how they are. And another information we can have is how they perform against us this year and even last year, the last match we played there. Of course, I respect a lot, massive respect for the coach, for his coach, massive respect for Crystal Palace, for their players, and massive respect for the semi-final. One semi-final, everything facing always is being difficult. Why? Because to get there is because they deserve it. As a coach, my challenge when I arrived here was to get some trophies during the way. Of course, it's one opportunity because we are in semi-final, but still a lot of work to do. And when you are getting experiences and you are getting some trophies during those experiences, at the last time, the most important I learned and I enjoyed was the way, not the end. And how we are doing this year, the way in FA Cup is really amazing. And this is the process I want to enjoy. I want to enjoy the semi-final about everything we are going to do from this week we are doing, and now traveling to London, being together, preparing the match, some meeting, tomorrow morning, the atmosphere in the stadium tomorrow in Wembley, enjoy. Of course, at the end, the objective is to win, but the process is the really important in my experiences I had when you are getting ways like now we are doing. But when you are starting the season, you are trying to set some objectives at the end of the season through 4 competitions. Premier League, Champions League this year, Europe, FA Cup and Carabao Cup. And of course, we are now still being in 2 competitions, Premier League because it's 38 matches, and FA Cup. And we finish Champions League. And now we are focusing each match in each competition, trying to get our best. And to be in Europe is one clear objective we have. The first way to get Europe is through Premier League. But getting the trophy in FA Cup, you can play as well Europa League. It's the second objective we can have in the competition. Now we can't choose only one competition. We are choosing both competitions strongly, because we have 2 ways for our objective.
So no, Elmo, you must have played what? Wow, 7.
Yeah, great to hear from Unai Emery there in the press conference.
He's played I'm just asking that because I never got to play in a cup final here. Yeah. But Elmo's played 7 times, and you must have been close.
3 I played,
times. 7 times, that's brilliant, by the way.
Goodness me, I mean, that really is. And
5 finals.
I don't like talking about it too much.
Final and one friendly with Egypt. So.
Oh wow!
I've actually scored it.
So lots of memories.
Hang on, he scored. Hang on a minute.
Yeah,
I don't like talking about it, but I have scored on this pitch.
Exactly right. We will get back onto that in just a moment. You've actually teed up beautifully for one of the later on features that we have. Unai Emery, though, in the press conference, James, talking about how much he respects Crystal Palace. Also, the fact that now that they've had Villa's number for the last 4 games, that he's learned plenty, though. It's not many teams that are going to get a 5-timer over Unai.
No, not at all. And he certainly is the manager to learn and I think take tactics into every game and every occasion. So I'm sure he'll have something up his sleeve today for the game. But I think Palace have been fairly impressive this season. I think they've got the highest points tally so far in their Premier League since they've been back up at this stage of the season. So I don't think it's going to be any easy game for Aston Villa, and certainly with the recent history. But semi-final, like Damian mentioned earlier, it being a one-leg semi-final, it gives both teams a chance. But it's a game that I see going in Aston Villa's favour, certainly with the strength of the squad that the club has now.
And he has huge amount of respect, understandably so, for his opposite number, Oliver Glasner, as well. Elmo was asked about that. He always is whenever he's coming up against a top-notch opposite number to him for the other team. And Oliver Glasner, he was just full of praise for him.
Of course, yeah, you can see last 4 games between the clubs, you can see the results. Seems like Crystal Palace just got the nod, especially in their place. Been magnificent, to be honest. Got some good players, He been rested, a couple of them against Arsenal. They came on, they made the difference. Ismail Assar and Mateta scored the goal against Arsenal. Eze as well, who's for me one of the best midfielders in this country. So they got players that can hurt you, and the manager knows that. Of course, they did their homework, with the staff. And in the big occasion, you need these big players. So for me, it's not. People coming here think it's a Crystal Palace. It's going to be an easy one. It's not going to be an easy one. They're going to give you a difficult times. I know we've been in a good run. I know we got beat, against the champion on the midweek. But you need a reaction today. In a big occasion, like I said, you need big players. So you need the reaction today. I know you're going to touch on the lineup in a bit, but today you can see the manager is going bit more forward today, more attacking side today. That's what you need in these games. So hopefully it's a good day for us, for Aston Villa, and for the fans as well. Like I said, last time the fans been here, they went a little bit upset. We lost the final, but today it's different. Today it's a semi-final. Again, it's a different position. So you need this reaction today after the disappointed result against Man City.
Should we get into the team news then? We have got it through now for Aston Villa and Crystal Palace, but starting with Aston Villa as always. So in goal, of course, Emi Martinez. At left back, we have Luca Dean, Pau Torres and Ezri Konsa make up the centre of defence. Matty Cash at right back. John McGinn, our captain, gets his start. Yuri Tielemans, Boubacar Kamara, Morgan Rogers, Marco Asensio and Ollie Watkins. Marcus Rashford, though, is not on the bench. He suffered a knock in midweek, so he doesn't even make the bench. Now, in terms of Crystal Palace, they have Dean Henderson in goal, Mark Gay, their captain, Lacroix, and Richards make up the back 3. Munoz, Wharton, Kamada and Mitchell, Sarr, Eze and Mateta up top. So lads, Alan, starting with Aston Villa, what do you make of that? First and foremost, let's start with defence. Luca Dean at left back. A few people are saying, will Ian Maatsen come in for this game given the fantastic performance he had against Newcastle? However, Luca Dean, from the defensive point of view, getting his lineup.
Yeah, I don't think you mess about too much. I don't think the manager, I don't even think after the result against City, I think he was already knowing that his back 4 would stay the same. Really, I don't think that's one to mess about with too much. I think the others was who was going to play in what particular place and whatever way we were going to play. Watkins up top, I think it's because Elma was telling us that Rashford picked up an injury against Man City, so it made the manager's choice a little bit easier for him today in terms of, he might even have played Ollie Watkins anyway, we don't know, but it doesn't matter. But I'm kind of glad Ollie's playing because he'll hold the ball up better, and this is a big pitch to get around, and there'll be plenty of room for him to get in behind. But I think with Asensio playing as well, we know how often we can get him on the ball, and then his passing says, we know how good he is. But certainly in terms of the back 4, I don't think at any time Kate was even thinking about tinkering with it. We'll see how the game goes. but certainly in Kashi and Digne and the two boys in the middle, I think he always knew that's how he was going to start.
And with Marco Asensio being in there, it means that Yuri Tielemans can drop that bit deeper. Where do you prefer him? Do you prefer him further up pitch, or do you prefer him in that double pivot with Kamara?
It's a difficult question because he's such a good footballer. I like him when he's deeper. He finds them passes in between the lines that can really upset teams. So yeah, I think for me, I prefer him deeper. But he's such a talented footballer. He's not too disappointed to have him deeper or higher up.
Into those positions, because the one he always looks to get is to get and then play one over the top of the centre backs or the full backs for Watkins to run in, and he's good at that. But Kamara's the one that stays for us.
Yeah.
He won't be going too far forward. He is your main guy, and obviously when we don't have the ball, Tielemans comes back in and plays like that, and the guys try and stop them coming through us as much as they can. But James is right. It's a hard question to ask, because he's so good at both. But he's so good in both positions. Yeah. I mean, Tielemans is a top player, isn't he? And he can play that both positions, Elmo.
Yeah, of course. You can see him. He's like James said. He's a great footballer. You just enjoy watching him. But I prefer him in that 6 role, because he dictates games. He's so good on the ball, and then can go this pass as well. To the striker. So for me, I think 4 players today: Emi Martinez, Yuri Tielemans, John McGinn and Asensio. They've been in big occasion. They've been winning stuff before. I'm talking about Yuri Tielemans. He scored a sensational goal here before in the FA Cup final with Leicester. John McGinn has been here, scored as well with Aston Villa. Asensio, 3 Champions League winner. So these players in big occasion, you need their experience, So they've been there, they've done it before. Around the other players, they help them a lot. So this experience is so important for us today. Of course, Yuri, he started 50 games for the club this season, It's unbelievable, So for the manager, he's the first or the second score sheet every game. So he's so important for the team, of course.
Do you want the next hard question then?
Yes.
Seeing as you teed it up there for John McGinn. John McGinn, Morgan Rogers, left or right?
Morgan on the right, John on the left.
Okay.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because I think Morgan's better coming from the right-hand side. He can do both, but I think he's stronger coming from the right, because he loves to drive across the way, and he's happier. It's just the way he's built. I think he's happier running in that direction, but also he'll be happier playing down the right-hand side for us. John can just do whatever he wants, to be quite honest with you. And don't forget, as the game goes, they can switch.
Yeah.
The manager will say, look, if you want to switch it across, then by all means do. Asensio's the big one for me today. He has the opportunity, I think, to run the game for us today, genuinely, and get him on the ball as often as we can, and give them as little ball as we possibly can. Listen, I'm starting to get excited now. We've gone through the team. The manager, we trust the manager, and I think it's a really good starting 11. But my big one is Asensio, and naturally with Ollie Watkins playing up top, I'm delighted.
If it's good enough for PSG to be able to switch their left-sided players with their right-sided players, it's good enough for Aston Villa. Right, we better touch upon Crystal Palace though. That back 3 that can turn into a back 5 as well. Trying to break down their defence, exactly the defence we thought. Richards, Lacroix and Gay in there. Tricky defence to break down?
Yeah, good defence. Athletic, quick. And yeah, like you say, when they're out of possession, it is more of a back 5, which is difficult to break down. I think why Asensio is going to be so important, them runs in between the back 3 to deepen them. So yeah, like I said earlier, it's not going to be an easy game, and certainly out of possession, they're going to drop back and make it hard to play through, which I think why Asensio is so important. I hope he has the quietest game.
I hope he has the quietest game ever, Melmo.
I don't know. Is it possible for him to have a quiet?
Well, yeah. In fact, if he is quiet, he'll probably be giving it. Give me the ball. I want to be involved. But I think Elmo already mentioned that he's going to be a big player for us. He's so important to the team. He builds confidence for the back 4. But let's hope he's quite literally got nothing to do today.
Oh, he is a man for the big occasions, though, isn't he? They don't come much bigger than being able to play at Wembley. Right, though, plenty more build-up to today's game in just a few.
Hey, geezer.
All right, Oz.
Let's play Villa Park.
As long as I'm left wing.
Please, Lord, just let me play for the Villa.
Pass. Who knows high line practice? To your right. Go to the right. Hold the line, Rob.
Unai, I've got this. I'm ready to play.
Who's that? Do you want me through the middle or on the left?
Have you seen my Preds?
Number 11, the Prince of Darkness.
Who's that? The biggest frontman to ever come out of Birmingham.
This is the Emi Martinez masterclass.
We go all the way next time. Up the Villa.
The Villa.
Up the Villa. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa. Up the Villa. Up the Villa.
Aston Villa, after 13 years away, return to European football.
Come on, we've got a game to play.
Leo Bailey for Aston Villa. Again, it's 1-0. Still walking. Oh, what a finish. What a fantastic finish that is.
Why? Go and play up your own end.
Come on, love. Leave him alone.
A brilliant new record. 15 home wins in the league on the bounce. It's incredible.
There's no getting away from how big it is. The FA Cup, semi-final and going far in the Champions League, all those things I think are really important for the fans to enjoy. We have such a tough opposition in Palace in front of us that it's going to require the knowledge of the games that we've played against them before, the knowledge of the games that we've played against different opposition and how well we know we can play, and also being able to handle the occasion as well. 80,000+ people at Wembley is a special but different occasion as well.
Welcome along to Villa TV and to Matchday Live from Wembley. My name is Kate Tracy. Alongside me, Ahmed El Mohammadi, James Chester and Alan McAnally. The fans are really starting to pour into Wembley now. Crystal Palace have come out behind us for their warm-ups. Emi Martinez is behind us, awaiting his Aston Villa teammates in just a moment. Elmo, I'm going to ask you the question. How do you stop Mateta?
He's a great player, to be honest. You know, he's having a great season. He's a top striker. So the relationship between him and Eze, especially, it's been fantastic, you know. So to stop Mateta, you have to stop Eze, you know. So this is the one for me. He's the one providing him with assists. He's the one providing him with passes. So I just, you know, I need Matty Cash today, you know, to give him a bit, you know. So from the start of the game, you know, you need to just give him so much, you know, on his backside. So for me, Ezri Konsa is massive for us in the back today. He's been there, he's experienced, he's played against him a few times before, he knows him very well. So Ezri needs to get in tight with him, you know, especially in crosses, because they just rely on crosses. The right back and the left back, they're very good crosses, so he's attacking striker, so we need to stop the crosses to stop him scoring goals.
Yeah, trying to stop him, no mean feat whatsoever, as he's proven a few times now. Now, of course, this is the third semi-final that Aston Villa have faced at Wembley. Have to go back to 2000 against Bolton Wanderers, the most recent of which, 2015 against Liverpool. Let's take a look back at it.
Alan and Sterling once more. Coutinho's running onto it. And Coutinho scores for Liverpool. Pulls that one back towards Benteke. 1-1. The beast delivers again. He's shaking to find an opportunity to shoot. I think he goes inside to down. And Villa have come from behind. Michael Oliver has his whistle to his lips. And we do dare to dream. It's an FA Cup final.
Welcome back to Villa TV. Now, of course, we were just looking back there at Liverpool in the semi-final 2015, Alan. Of course, Villa going on to lose the final quite some way there, but to beat Liverpool 2-1 was something.
Yeah, well, listen. When was it? No, 2015 was Arsenal.
Yeah.
Arsenal in the final we played.
4-0.
And that didn't go too well. I went home a little bit disappointed that day. But yeah, forget about it. I mean, it's lovely to look back. Certainly that semi-final result is brilliant. And let's hope it's exactly the same today. I don't expect this to be... I think we'll win. I think we'll win because I think we're a better team. But you've already mentioned a couple of players, and so did Elmo. The boy Kirtland's had a very, very good season. Tyreek Mitchell's been very good. And obviously the top two, they have a problem. They've given lots of people a problem. And Oliver Glasner, to be quite honest with you, when he came into the job, I don't think MD thought he would have the effect that he's had on Crystal Palace. So you need to tip your hat off to them and say they've had a great season. Because remember, they've also got to a semi-final of the FA Cup. I just think we're a better team. I think we'll create more chances. I think that's why we'll beat them today.
And back to the 2000 semi-final at Elmo. Of course, it was 0-0 against Bolton. Villa going through on penalties there in dramatic style as well. Ideally, it's not going to go to penalties today, but it's always a threat. We have to consider that it could go extra time and to penalties.
Of course, yeah, you have to prepare for everything. It's a cup game, so it can go to penalties. And then you have, the best goalkeepers in the world, He's been great in penalties as well. So it's something you think about it, but I think for the players, for the manager and everyone, wants to finish the game early because you play a lot of games. You have a lot of competition to play for. You've been already playing a lot of games, so it just, in case, I think they've been training on that penalties, yesterday in training ground as well. That's something for the manager you have to focus on. So if you go to penalties, you don't worry because you have the best goalkeepers in the world.
Not gonna lie, I have absolutely no idea what you've just said. It's got very, very loud out here because Aston Villa have just come out onto the pitch. So the Villa fans giving it socks in the background. So lads, we're going to do our best to try and hear each other throughout this. But James, back to that 2015 semi-final. Of course, to beat Liverpool 2-1, but then to go on and lose the final, heartbreaking.
Yeah, very disappointing. I think it's different now with the squad of players that the club has and the manager that's in charge. I think there was maybe not expectation, but there's a real belief for everyone at the club and the fans that it's different now, and going on to progress today and go and win trophies is something that's really realistic for the football club now.
And it feels like such a long time. Well, it has been such a long time since silverware has been lifted. And again, to come that close as James is fighting off aphids left, right. There's a lot of aphids out here for some reason. But to go so close on those couple of occasions in the semi-finals, or to get to the finals there, and to come home empty-handed still, it does hurt somewhat still.
I've lost in semi-finals, I've also lost in finals. Losing at any time is not great. By the way, how good was the reception for the players there, by the way? Because the boys will be absolutely bouncing after that. You can hear us. Absolutely fantastic. So listen, the guys they're going through the paces, getting ready to rock and roll, but they will be bursting for the game to start. But you're right, let's hope we're not talking about any defeat already like, oh, it's a bad drive home or whatever it is. Let's just talk about the positivity with this football club and the positivity that the players have had all season, Kate. They have played in the big games, and this is another one today, and it's something as a football player you'd rather be involved in than not.
Now, you played at the old Wembley. How does it compare?
Well, this is an unbelievable football ground. I mean, it's like a heaven of football, for God's sakes. Imagine they had a World Cup final here in 1966. Finals for just. I mean, I never got to play in a cup final here, and as a player, it was all I wanted to do was playing cup finals, and I wanted to play one at Wembley. I obviously played one at Hampden in Scotland, but I never got the opportunity to do it here. But listen, that's something that passes you by as a player. But these guys have an opportunity to be able to say to me, have you ever played in a cup final at Wembley, big man? And I'll always have to say no. But hopefully they can say, well, lads, that's what we want them to do.
Now, talking of playing at Wembley, the pair of you two, we've held it off for long enough now to be able to go and relive it. The 2019 playoff final against Derby. Now, James, you were actually on the sidelines for that with your knee injury. But I was talking to you earlier on about it, you coming here, sitting in the stands watching it. What were your memories?
Nervousness.
You were saying you're more nervous when you're not playing rather than when you're playing.
Yeah, I think it's hard to believe, but on occasions like this and in venues like this, playing football is all we've ever done, so it's something we feel comfortable doing, even on stages like today. But watching and not having any control over the situation or outcome was it was never nice during my career. But thankfully that day it was a huge result for the football club, because it's put it on the route to where it is now.
Elmer, you played in both of those, the losing playoff final and also the winning one as well. Memories of both of those, how do they compare?
Yeah, it's been difficult, you know. That game against Fulham here was so disappointing. I think James was here as well, you know. The club was in a very, very difficult time, you know, and we've been there. So it was just like, you know, you can see the fans, you know, so upset after the game. Just wants to get this club back to the Premier League. But the reaction in the following year was magnificent for everyone. New owners came, new manager came, you know, added some few players. And then we came here again in the final against Derby. Has been absolutely unbelievable. You can see after the game, just the relief on the fans' face. And everyone was so happy to get this club back to the Premier League. Like I said, you know, and I know Nasser for a long, long time, you know, the owner. I never seen him happy as that day, you know. He just, after the game, he was just like telling me, in 5 years' time, this club will play in the Champions League. And here we are now, you know, playing the Champions League, playing in European competition. So it's just the experience on that, you know, winning here in big stage is magnificent for everyone, especially for those fans. And the trip back to Birmingham after this game, you know, hopefully everyone will be happy.
How does it feel to go into a playoff final in comparison to a cup run? Does it feel, James, like you've got more to lose if you're in a playoff final?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think, you know, result determined, you may have to go through a whole season to try and achieve that again. I think the FA Cup was something in my career that I didn't realise how special it was till you start to get to these later stages. You know, if you drop out...
Yeah, we experienced that as well, you know, losing the FA Cup final. He told us one, James.
Here we go, right, again.
All right. You mentioned that, so we've really mentioned that as many times as I've heard your song today.
I'm not mentioning any losing cup finals.
Go on then, James, talk us through it.
My goal?
50 yards, but...
Yeah,
it was halfway on the other side. Was on the other side, yeah. I remember, like, you know...
I'd like to say I knew what I was doing, really, but I just helped it on its way with my left foot and it went in the bottom corner.
But that's the thing, though, isn't it? When you talk about playoff finals, how different it can compare to something that you can actually go on to achieve and actually something tangible, silverware, you can get your hands on, rather than just thinking we've got everything to lose here.
No, I mean, playoff finals are a different beast. Let's get that right, first and foremost. This is the FA Cup, it's a knockout competition. The playoff stuff is something that, you know, you put yourself in a position from a long, long season to try and get into the Premier League. It's a real tough one. And thankfully, I never had the problem of actually dealing with that or dealing with the win or the loss, because I didn't play in anything like that. But certainly in terms of what the players have got to do today, as I go back to James just mentioned about when you're a football player and you play in all the competitions, they're all important. But when you finish, you think, didn't play in an FA Cup final, and I'd love to have done that.
I can tell that's something that's really bugging.
And there's not. And by the way, in touchwood, I played in the World Cup, I played in cup finals, I won titles, I played in Europe, I played in huge semi-finals in the Champions League. But I always look back thinking, I wonder if I could change one thing, I might have wanted to play in a cup final. And like I say, the lads have an opportunity to do that today.
James, we've got to let you go. You're on co-commentary duty, but you've also got an interview to do beforehand, apparently.
Yeah, this was news to me up until about 15 minutes ago, so I'm a jack of all trades today.
Oh, you're all right.
I've been doing plenty today.
We will let you exit stage left then, and we'll catch up with you later. But thanks so much for your time, though.
See you soon.
Bye, Paul.
See you later, James.
See you, bud.
At least we got to mention the few things we wanted to with James before we had to let him go then at that point. Right, lads, let's talk about the run that we've had so far in the FA Cup. We're going to be getting a lot of cheers as the team lineup is being announced over the tannoy. The run so far in the FA Cup for Villa, starting with that memorable day, West Ham, the coldest night I think I can ever remember back in January, and they just kick-starting in the best way.
Of course, yeah, it was a tough one for us, to be honest, you know, celebrating the 150 years for the club. So it was a special day for everyone, but it was tough because West Ham was just appointing a new manager, you know, just one day before the game, and then we were just, you know, fearing of the reaction of the players and everything. But to be fair, in the new kit, that special kit on that day, you know, which is something I love. I think Alan.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
I
got one of them and I kept
started
it as well.
The competition very well, and then to be fair, we were a bit lucky a bit. We got 2-3 home draw as well, you know, so it was good for us. and then we were away to Preston, which is not easy.
Yeah.
We got the job done, and then here we are today. So for me, it's a great run for the club. Beside the Champions League, beside the Premier League, what the manager did and the players been fantastic, to be honest.
It's been a good run in terms of, as Elmo said there, lucky in senses because our first 3 ties were drawn at home.
Yeah.
But also Premier League opposition for the first 2, West Ham, Tottenham. Then we got Cardiff. But away to Preston, as Elmo said there, is no easy place to go whatsoever.
To be quite honest with you,
given.
I'd be quite happy having MD at Villa Park in a cup competition because I think we've proved we've got players that are, I think Elmo mentioned it about big players for big occasions, and any game at Villa Park's a big occasion, but especially in the FA Cup against Premier League opposition. The game against Preston is the one where I was a little bit nervous about it because their home form had been actually really good, and we didn't weather the storm. They had a couple of half chances, nothing for us to get too worried about, and then we did the business and put them to the sword, and that's got us here. You know, with a bit of luck, we'll be back in a couple of weeks' time, but nevertheless, it's been a great run, but certainly maybe a little fortunate that we got the home ties, which is always good if you want a cup run sometimes.
Should we hear from some of the fans?
Yeah.
Some of the fans you were catching up with earlier on in the Box Park. The Villa TV media team caught up with plenty of Villa fans earlier on.
You look at Box Park today, you look at all the Villa fans, we've got so much in us. There's a little bit of us that other people don't have, other fans don't have. We've got it in us. We're going to win today. Up the Villa! Up the Villa! Up the Villa!
Up the Villa!
It'd be lovely to see him lift a trophy again, but not just a trophy, the FA Cup. Superb.
Come on the Villa boys!
Up the Villa!
Covered in these things, by the way.
Oh, they're I've seen them landing on your guys' faces. Sharing his face. Welcome back. This is the current scene at Wembley. It is getting very loud out here as a ball flies past Elmo at that point as well. Tyrone did say the only difference for them is the fact that they've got a different ball, and we've just seen that flying by us, haven't we?
It's a different ball. It's a different ball. Oh, it's a different ball here for the FA Cup, isn't it?
It is, and that's what he said, the only difference.
It is different, you know. I remember Pep Guardiola was complaining about.
Yeah, I remember
it's
that.
just, you know, the way you pass it, the way you shoot it is different move, you know. It's hard for goalkeepers, so they need to get used to it. That's why they give it to like 1 week before the game. So let's enjoy this. It's unbelievable.
If you can hear that over our mics, the Villa fans are doing themselves so much justice here. This is fantastic. I haven't heard anything from the Palace fans just yet. And we know that Russ and the gang are doing a stellar job as well to really rally the troops then of the Villa fans. Now, of course, hearing from them earlier on, as we just saw in the VT there, Elmo, how much it means to every single one of these Villa fans. They've been through everything with Villa.
Of course, yes, they deserve a trip to Wembley here. Hopefully another one in a couple of weeks. So, be magnificent, you know, through the year as well. Champions League, being away and home, in every competition in the Premier League. You can see that, you know, they've been excited about everything this season, especially that Champions League away from home. The trips they made, everything, they follow the team everywhere. So they deserve this day today, and hopefully a good win today to just like, you know, reward them for their great, absolutely great support over the year this year.
Definitely, so much support, and hopefully days like today reward them to a large extent. Now, all of us spoke to Damien Vidagani and Monchi earlier on, but of course, they were up on stage earlier on at the Box Park, along with all of the Aston Villa fans.
Today is an important day for our club, for our squad, for Unai, for us, for everybody. The most important thing is to have the opportunity in 2 weeks to be here another time and to win the FA Cup. Thank you so much. Up the Villa!
It's amazing to be here. First thing, up the Villa! Second thing, on behalf of Unai Emery, thank you so much for the effort all the season to come to Villa Park. You are the real heart of the club. We are so proud of you, of each one of you. Let's do it today and play like in Villa Park at the Villa.
They just get what this club is about, don't they? Damien and Monchi there up on stage.
Yeah.
You were talking to them as well. They in good form?
They were in great form. I mean, it was a surprise and a real pleasure that they came to, speak to the fans. Elmo's already spoken about. It'd be brilliant if we can keep, we're back in a couple of weeks. But honestly, I think, and by the way, just one little thing about the fans. I think we come here today with optimism that we're going to get a result rather than, wouldn't it be, it would be great if we could just maybe manage it. And I think with the big games we played in and the results we've had, I think there's a genuine feeling of we're going to score goals and we're going to be as competitive as we can be. And if we are with that, that'll hopefully make us better than Crystal Palace. The noise here is absolutely unbelievable. And Elmo and I can hardly hear you talking.
I have no idea what the pair of you have said this whole show.
And I think they're giving the Crystal Palace team out just now, and all the Villa fans are booing naturally. But it is so loud, and it'll be brilliant if they can make that noise the whole day and get behind the lads as much as they can.
There's a real mix of claret and blue and white shirts because, of course, Aston Villa are going to be in the all-white kit today, being the away team at Wembley. So the Villa fans have really managed to orchestrate this well.
It doesn't make a difference, so hopefully, to be fair, when we wear in white, I think it's a good for us, It's like every time we win white, we win. So hopefully today we get the win and just make these fans happy, I remember, like I said, in 2019 when we win the playoff, they make that noise, they make it all in the whole game, and then after the game you can't see their celebration. So hopefully a good win for them today, and they can celebrate after the game.
Yeah. And the form that Aston Villa are in, let's just draw a line through Man City. You're going to the Etihad, a last-minute winner then for them. But until then, 10 wins in the last 12 then for Aston Villa. Yeah. Crystal Palace on a 4-game unwinning run.
Yeah,
I know that they've been doing well.
Unwinning, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but having said that, they're a capable team. We have to be known that. I think the manager was at pains to talk about that, about his respect for the manager and respect for some of the players they have, because they've got international players in their team, Kate, and it's not just the fact we turn up and we turn them over. If they'll have to be on their game, if they'll have to make sure they remember who they're picking up for free kicks and corners, and get whoever you're playing against, make sure you give them the hardest time you possibly can. But I think genuinely, we'll create more chances than them today. But they are a decent team, Crystal Palace, and I think they've proved it over the season so far. But certainly, they're not coming here in the same kind of form we are. And I suppose the game against Man City, I mean, losing the goal so late was a bit of a killer for us.
It doesn't matter what form we are in, In the cup games, it's different, especially here in big occasion. Like, I'm going to repeat it again, big occasion needs big players, who's going to perform here today, handle the occasion and everything. So we got these players, we got this experience. So hopefully it's a good day for everyone involved with Aston Villa today.
Right, lads, we've got a minute left, so time for predictions.
Enjoy this.
It's just amazing, isn't it? Alan absolutely helping to stir up the atmosphere as well. Elmo, score predictions, what are you hoping for?
I'm going to 1 Villa, John McGinn and Ollie Watkins.
Nicely done, sir.
I think we'll score 2 goals in the second half and we'll win 3-1. I think we'll finish stronger than them and we'll be in the final in 2 weeks' time.
Rouge on them?
Yeah, I think so. I think the lads, even against City on Tuesday, it wasn't tiredness, and I certainly think they've got plenty of energy. And remember the game against Newcastle, we finished really strong. I think we'll do the same to Crystal Palace. We'll win 3-1 today.
Lads, it's been an absolute pleasure. As I say, I have no idea what you said this whole show, but I'm sure it was fantastic. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back pitchside for our post-match reaction show. But talking you through today's action, Mark Regan alongside James Chester.